So let me tell you my plans overall. So my plans are to get a playable city within a month. Not saying it's going to be perfect, not saying it's going to have everything we want, but it'll be playable. You'll have your jobs, you'll have your police, you'll have your EMS. Well, so, in all fairness, I did create the server within a month, almost to the day. Hi, everybody. My name is Scotty Pog, and I am the lead developer and I guess mastermind behind what was Dirty Soulz Roleplay. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing with as much transparency as I can without mentioning names what happened with Dirty Soulz Roleplay, why it shut down as fast as it did, and just overall what I think happened to make it fail. With full transparency in mind, I do want to let you know that I have prepared a script for this that I'll be loosely reading off of, mainly just to help me keep my thoughts and what I wanted to say. Now, if you spent any time in the Grand Theft Auto roleplay scene, you know how intoxicating the idea of running your own server is. You do see the big streamers, you see the custom cars, the scripts, and the tightly knit communities, and you think to yourself, I want to build that. I want to make a space where people actually want to roleplay without the usual headaches. So I did it. I poured a ton of time, energy, and resources into creating a FiveM server. And like I said before, it failed. Today, I just want to sit down and talk about, with complete honesty, as I mentioned before, with no sugarcoating. We're going to look at the good parts, the bad parts, the technical wins, and most of all, the incredibly frustrating community hurdles and the current reality of the FiveM scene that makes launching a project like this so tough right now. Let's start with the good, because on a technical level, the server was a massive success. The initial building phase was incredibly rewarding, watching a blank site turn into a living, breathing world, and the code was solid. I lost count of how many times people flew into the city and told me it was the smoothest server they've ever played on. Little to no lag, great frame rates, and zero game-breaking bugs. Everything ran exactly the way a premium roleplay server should. People genuinely love what we built. I had amazing community members who stepped up and bought custom one-on-one vehicles specifically to help fund the project so we could buy new scripts and keep expanding. Even after I made the call to shut it all down, I had countless people tell me, "You didn't fail at creating a server. You made an incredible server. The community failed you." And honestly, that's the hardest pill to swallow. We did everything we were supposed to do as owners. We hosted custom events, we let players completely own and run their own businesses. But you can provide the best sandbox in the world, and it doesn't mean anything if people don't want to play in it. We had over 50 people whitelisted and approved to play. But there's a massive gap between people saying they want to join a server and people actually showing up. A huge chunk of those whitelisted players never even flew into the city, and the ones who did, they didn't really roleplay all that much. But the absolute biggest killer for the server, and my own sanity, was the can't take the L mentality. Somewhere along the line, a lot of FiveM players forgot that roleplay is about cooperative storytelling, not winning at a video game. It felt like every single time the staff or admins got involved in a scene, someone's feelings got hurt. Even when a scene was played out perfectly within the rules, the moment someone didn't get their way, a Discord ticket was opened, or a DM was sent to complain about it. Everything got brought out of city. It reached a boiling point to where our chief of police, who was someone on the admin team, someone who put a ton of time and effort into the server, actually stepped down from his spot. Why? Because he arrested a specific player a few times, and instead of taking the arrest on the chin and role playing through it, the player opened a ticket complaining about the lack of DOJ. The irony is, we were actively letting that same player roleplay as a lawyer without even having a quote unquote bar license, just to give them something fun to do. We wanted to work with what we had within the city and let stories evolve naturally, but players wouldn't let us. When every interaction turns into an out of city administrative debate because someone can't handle losing a scene, the magic disappears. Now, every community has its challenges, but it usually only takes one toxic person to completely rot a server from the inside out. In our case, it was a player I actually had issues with in the past from my very first server. But wanting to be fair and give people a second chance, we let him join. At first, it seemed like he had changed. He was calmer, he wasn't crashing out, and he genuinely seemed like he wanted to help the server succeed. But that didn't last long. The old habits crept back in. He quit the police department to focus entirely on his criminal character, But he didn't just leave, he actively poached people from the police department, convincing them to make a criminal character just to join his gang. And all of this drama, it all stemmed from one incredibly minor thing. We, as admins, tuned his vehicle. That's it. We adjusted his car so it didn't go from 0 to 200 miles per hour within a couple seconds, and we balanced it for the health of the server. It wasn't only his cars that we balanced, by the way, it was everybody's. Because he couldn't take that minor L, he started a massive behind-the-scenes manipulation campaign. He started lying to people, claiming the staff was quote-unquote targeting him. He went so as far to privately message the person who was literally bankrolling the financial cost of the server, trying to manipulate them into getting me removed from my spot as the owner. We caught on to it and we banned him, but by then the cancer had already spread. The handful of people he had toxic conversations with before his ban suddenly flipped on us. They started echoing his lies, claiming they were being targeted too, when we hadn't changed a single thing about how we treated them. Once that level of toxicity and paranoia takes root in a small community, it's almost impossible to fix. You're no longer an owner or a creator, you're fighting a toxic PR war in your own Discord. Beyond just my server, we have to talk about the landscape of FiveM as a whole right now. The community has shifted drastically from the early days. It's incredibly saturated. You aren't just competing with standard servers anymore, you're competing with massive, hyper-monetized networks that operate like corporations. The expectations from players have changed. There's a huge push towards pay-to-win mechanics, custom one-on-one imported cars, and monetization tiers just to keep the lights on and compete. On top of that, the culture vibe of public roleplay has shifted heavily toward constant gunplay and this win chasing, rather than deep storytelling. Finding players who want genuine, slow burn narrative experience is like finding a needle in a haystack. The platform is massive, but it feels more fractured and commercialized than ever. Closing the server down wasn't easy, but it was a massive learning experience. It taught me exactly what goes into community management, back-end development, and where my own boundaries are when it comes to burnout. Sometimes walking away from a project isn't a true failure, it's just realizing that your energy is better spent elsewhere, focusing on things that actually bring you joy rather than stress. If you're thinking about starting your own server, my advice is go into it with your eyes wide open. Don't do it alone. Protect your peace first, and make sure your community is as ready to commit as you are. Thanks for hanging out and listening to the story. Let me know in the comments if you ever tried running a server or what your thoughts are on where the FiveM community is heading, and I'll catch you in the next video. In this next part, it's not related to this video at all, but I saw this clip earlier and I was getting clips for the beginning of this video. This is to Sean. This clip is taken from our Respawn podcast that we do every Saturday at 8 o'clock Central Time, which airs on Rumble, Kick, and YouTube. You can look up Respawn podcast on all those, but Kick is on my personal channel, which we will start airing this Saturday. But this is taken from a previous episode where Sean said, well, you'll take a look at the clip, and then I'm going to play a gameplay clip. Just know Sean is in both of these clips. Yeah, here are the clips. I think we're going to be rocking and rolling. And then when Sean decides to play, eventually he can come on as police too.
Nope.
He shakes his head disturbed. We both know, bro. Like, we both know we're going to end up posting clips. It's going to look fun. He'll be like, all right, I'll download it. And he'll come in and have fun for a little bit.
Nope.
And then someone will piss him off and he'll rage quit again. And then he'll be off for like a month and then come back. It's going to be a never ending cycle with Sean here.
Nope. Ain't happening.
All right, hold on. Show of hands, and like anyone in the chat can also raise your hand. Show of hands of people who have said that they're done with FiveM and they went back to it. Raise your hand, motherfucker. Sean, you did it too, pal. Raise your
No,
fucking
I'm
hand.
done with it. I haven't gone back to it yet.
Yeah, no, you did it before, pal. You did it before.
Did you hear the word that he used?
I did.
Yeah.
I heard that yet.
I ain't fucking going back to it.
Disturbed, I want you to clip this out and save the clip so when he goes back to it, we can reference. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on, guys. What the fuck?
Oh, here we go. A nice mountaintop.
Beautiful, isn't it? This this is more or less how you did Stone. Or, what was it again? Taking out his eyeballs, knocking his teeth out.
Yeah, I gouged his eyeballs out. I took out all of his teeth. I chopped multiple fingers off, and then I threw him in the fucking water. Unless you guys are going to get him.
Well,
Yeah, this is just a little bit ironic.
That's
I
just
mean,
rude.
I don't give a fuck. You're a piece of shit. Clearly, Scott's a piece of shit too. It is.
A fucking cousin? Come on, man.
Chala, I'm gonna unzip tie you. If you try anything funny, you're next. I made a promise. I'm a man of my word.
Take it easy, Chala. You pick up
Please
the car
take me
at
back to my
Otto's.
car. I got my car.
So you give him a ride back?
No.